I'm Vicki Hall with Denver Home Finder Service, and my buyer has a question.
Vicki, can you tell me how the process works once my offer is accepted?
Yeah, I sure can. The first thing we do once your offer is accepted by the seller is we order the inspection. And the inspection is normally going to be done within a 10-day time period from when you go under contract. And the reason that's done right away is because the seller has taken their house off the market, and they don't want to leave it off the market if you're not going to reach a resolution on the inspection. The inspection is kind of a wide open escape for the buyer. If they don't like something about the inspection, say there's something major that they weren't aware of, maybe there's structural problems, they can just check a box that says, I want to terminate the contract, give me back my earnest money, and you take your marbles and go play someplace else. But let's just say that you have the inspection done, and there's nothing major, you don't want to terminate the contract, but there are some things that you want the seller to fix. So by the inspection objection deadline, you're going to come back with a notice that says, for instance, Mr. Seller, I want you to fix A, B, and C. The seller may come back with a seller's alternative resolution that says, I'll fix A and C, but I'm not going to fix B. And you go back and forth until it's resolved and both parties agree. If both parties do not agree, then the contract terminates, you get your earnest money back, and you go find another house. But let's just say the seller and the buyer have reached an agreement, and you've done it by the deadline. So you've reached your first, you've passed your first hurdle. The next thing you do is you order an appraisal. The lender's going to order the appraisal, and that's going to be a hard cost, maybe $400. So you don't want to do that before you make it through inspection, just in case you don't make it through inspection. So that normally happens about a week after the inspection resolution deadline. Now, we are having some problems with appraisals coming in low. You as a buyer, that may not be a bad thing if that happens. So say for instance you've agreed to a price of $220,000 on a house, and the appraisal comes in at $215,000. You as a buyer, you have three choices with a low appraisal. You can either reach in your pocket and pull out more money because the bank is only gonna loan against the lower of the two, either the purchase price or the appraisal price. Or you can renegotiate with the seller, or you can terminate the contract. Most people choose to renegotiate, and that's not a bad deal for you because normally the price is going to be lower. So once you make it through the appraisal deadline, then the next deadline is loan conditions. Now this is not really good for the seller. It's kind of a wide open escape still for the buyer. By that time, which is normally, if you have a 5-week closing, it's about 3.5 weeks out from the contract date. And by that time, you have to feel comfortable with the loan that you are getting. The fact that the bank has not been on the front page of the Denver Post saying that they've just been taken over. And you feel comfortable with your loan officer. But you also have to be more comfortable than that. The actual contract says that if you're not satisfied with the interest rate or the term of the loan, you can send a notice to the seller and terminate the contract. So that's the loan conditions deadline. Once you get past that deadline, which I haven't actually seen a contract terminate on the loan conditions deadline, but once you get past that deadline, your earnest money is at risk. So you could get up to the moment of closing as a buyer, you could change your mind, and the worst thing that could happen is that you lose your earnest money. A seller, it's a little bit different for a seller. The seller could get up to the moment of closing. If they change their mind, normally they have something called specific performance, and that means that you, the buyer, can take them to court and force them to perform. So that's the way the contract works.
Thank you.